Now, the country is still coming to terms with the sudden demise of its top military officer, General Bipin Rawat. The wreath-laying ceremony took place at Madras Regimental Centre in Tamil Nadu's Wellington. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin paid last respects to CDS and to others who lost their lives. After this, the mortal remains of Chief of Defence Staff, his wife, along with others, will be brought to the national capital in a military aircraft this evening. In fact, on Friday, the mortal remains will be brought to CDS's residence and people will be allowed to pay their last respects from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, after that, a funeral procession will also be organised from Kamraj Marg to Brar Square Crematorium in Delhi Cantonment. Cremation of General Rawat and his wife will take place in Delhi Cantonment. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh briefed both houses of the parliament and paid his tribute. He revealed the sequence of events which led to the unfortunate death of CDS. Now, Rajnath said that 11:48 a.m. CDS chopper took off from Sulur Air Base and was supposed to land in Wellington at 12:15 p.m. But at 12:08, CDS's chopper lost contact with the air traffic control and soon after crashed.
जनरल बिपिन रावत डिफेंस सर्विसेज स्टाफ कॉलेज वेलिंगटन के स्टूडेंट ऑफिसर से इंटरेक्ट करने के लिए अपने एक शेड्यूल्ड विजिट पर थे। एयरफोर्स के Mi-17V5 हेलीकॉप्टर ने कल 11:48 पर सुलूर एयरबेस से अपनी उड़ान भरी, जिसे 12:15 पर वेलिंगटन में लैंड करना था। सुलूर एयरवेज के एयर ट्रैफिक कंट्रोल ने लगभग 12:08 पर हेलीकॉप्टर से अपना कांटेक्ट खो दिया। बाद में कूनूर के पास जंगल में कुछ स्थानीय लोगों ने आग लगी हुई देखी। जब वे भागकर उस स्थान पर पहुंचे तो उन्होंने मिलिट्री हेलीकॉप्टर के अवशेष को आग की लपटों से घिरा हुआ देखा।
Now, let me quickly cut across to India Today's Pramod Madhav, who was at the crash site in Coonoor, brings us minute-by-minute exclusive updates here. Let's take a look.
We are currently at Nilgiris district and this location is called Kateri. This is the place where the ground zero is. Unfortunately, the Mi-17V5 helicopter crashed and for now police personnel have not provided any permission to reach the spot. But however, behind us, almost 100 meters from us, you could see the crash spot. On that place, you could see army personnel, Air Force personnel, everyone over there. The debris are still present at that point. The army personnel and Air Force personnel are trying to take pictures, collect various equipment from there, perhaps like data recorders and such, and not just that, over there you could see the broken trees as well. Earlier eyewitnesses said that as they were inside the home, you could see a couple of homes over there. They heard a loud bang and then suddenly something came up crashing on those trees, and that was the Mi-17V5 helicopter, unfortunately killing 13 people, including the CDS. And one more information which we got is that the locals from this region were the first one to actually reach the spot, and they tried to help many people. And through these actual slopes and everything, they tried to bring out the people, and they have played a very important role in trying to rescue people at this point as well. Commendable job by the people from Kateri as well. The DGP of Tamil Nadu, Sailendra Babu, has also reached the spot. He's also inquiring what happened at this point. And as we speak, the Chief Minister is at Wellington. Guard of honor for the fallen heroes is expected around morning, and from there to Sulur, and from there the mortal remains will be flown to Delhi as well. This is ground zero. This is where the unfortunate accident occurred. With Virijan's Divyan, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
All right, our reporters on ground bringing us extensive updates on what's happening there at Wellington as a wreath-laying ceremony there that just concluded. Mohit Sharma reporting live from Delhi, while Pramod Madhav on ground, the crash site in Coonoor. Let me start with Pramod. Pramod, you are at the crash site. We believe a good number of officials are on ground trying to investigate the matter. We're looking at the Defence Minister, who's initiated an intensive probe into trying to find out what exactly is the reason for the crash. Now, let me cut across to Mohit Sharma itself, cutting across from Delhi. Mohit, take us through exactly what we know. Also, speaking of the final rites of General Bipin Rawat and his wife, along with the 11 others, how soon would that happen?
Well, Nabila, from the information that we're getting to know right now is that, the helicopter, the military aircraft rather, would be taking off very soon with the mortal remains of everybody who was on board of that unfortunate copter yesterday. And they would be brought in here to New Delhi. It would be later in the day that the mortal remains could be brought in here. It could be post 7 when, the mortal remains finally arrive here at, in Delhi at the Palm Airport. And on the other hand, it is expected that for the last rites of everybody on board would actually take place tomorrow. For the larger period, tomorrow morning, the bodies would be kept for the people to come and pay their respect as well. And post that, it is expected that a procession could also be taken, because there are a lot of people who are just waiting to pay their last respect to not just General Bipin Rawat, but at the same time to others as well who've died in this copter crash. On the other hand, when the mortal remains finally arrive here at the Palm Airport, it is expected that several of the dignitaries could also be reaching here initially to check as to how the things are progressing from here onwards. What we know so far regarding the crash is that the inquiries have already been ordered into it, and it is expected that the exact cause of the copter crash, something that would soon come to light. But on the other hand, the entire nation is mourning the deaths of those who've died in that copter crash. And on the other hand, they are waiting to pay the respect. And it is later in the day that we are expecting the mortal remains to finally arrive here in New Delhi. From there onwards, it is expected that first...
Right. Let me quickly cut across to Rixon as well, joining us from Sulur. Rixon, what exactly is the plan? The mortal remains will be brought to Sulur, and from there it will be flown to Delhi. Is it all on time and as per schedule? Rixon, if you can hear me, are you at the Sulur Air Base? We believe that the mortal remains will be brought there and then will be flown down to Delhi. Is it all as per schedule?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Right now we are here at, the Air Force Station in Sulur. The mortal remains of, General and 12 others were reached here in the Sulur Air Force Station. And it's around, 85 kilometers from, this OT to Sulur. And it took around 2 hours to reach here at the Air Force Station. And, within short few minutes, the mortal remains will move to the national capital by a special flight arranged here. And we have seen, huge gatherings outside the airbase, and also on the way to this airbase also we saw that hundreds and hundreds of people on the two sides of road, including children, raising slogans for General and also for the army. It was really we have witnessed a lot of emotional scenes during this 2-hour journey, journey to this Air Force Station. And also here we have seen still hundreds of people were gathering outside the Air Force Station to pay the last tribute to General Bipin Rawat and 12 others. So on the way to here also children and also old age people, we have seen many emotional scenes, people holding their flags and waving that, and they're paying floral tribute to General and the 12 others. Right now, the mortal remains were reached here, and within short few minutes we are hoping that the mortal remains will shift to the national capital.
Well, Rixon, we see a lot of commotion right behind you. We believe that the mortal remains is currently on its way to Sulur. Here we see several ambulances carrying those 12 servicemen. Very, very unfortunate. You have also Madhulika, who is Bipin Rawat's wife, who also perished in that crash. She's also being moved, the mortal remains being moved towards Sulur Air Base. What's the process like? We believe that the entire the wreath-laying ceremony has just ended and they're being brought to the Sulur Air Base. As per schedule, is it all in time? Rixon, take us through the sentiments on ground. We see a huge crowd there, a lot of people surrounding the airbase, the Sulur airbase, and we see vehicles, ambulances bringing the mortal remains, entering the airbase. Have they reached, and is it all on time?
Yes, absolutely. The vehicles with the ambulances reached here at the Sulur airbase on time, and on this 2-hour, journey to the airbase, hundreds of vehicles were also followed these ambulances, and at various junctions we have seen that thousands of people were gathered at the junctions, and they paid a floral tribute to General Bipin Rawat and 12 others by raising slogans and waving the national flags. And after reaching here also, what we have seen is that still we can see that hundreds of people were gathered outside here at the Air Force Station, and they are paying their final respect, final tribute to General Bipin Rawat and others. And as of now, earlier we have seen in the Wellington that Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin were reached there, and he paid his tribute, and also Telangana Governor, Puducherry Governor were also reached there. Various political leaders and condolences were pouring, till yesterday. But here also we witnessed the people of Tamil Nadu, have given their final respect, final tribute to General Bipin Rawat and others. So on the way, this is what we witnessed. On the two sides of roads, what we have seen that hundreds and hundreds of people were gathered, and they thrown flowers to the these ambulances, to these mortal remains, and they paid their final respect. And just before 5-10 minutes, the mortal remains were reached here at the Air Force Station, and as per the schedule, within half an hour, the mortal remains of General Bipin Rawat and others will take to the national capital.
Rixon, we see a lot of people there surrounding the Sulur airbase. If you can really capture the sentiments on ground, people there extensively showering a flower tribute to the mortal remains that is being brought in by the ambulances. They've been yelling, screaming. We hear a lot of chatter right behind. Take us through their emotion.
Well, absolutely. Earlier we have seen, hundreds of people around here, but now the police is also, they are, making barricades here in front of the Air Force Station, because, earlier hundreds of people were trying to enter inside this Air Force Station. Now, so police barricades were all, made here, and on the way itself, many people were during 10-15 minutes before, hundreds of people were gathered here to pay their last tribute. This is irrespective of caste or irrespective of politics, the color, irrespective of everything. What we heard here is that their final respect to the general. We have seen their sentiments, how they are giving the last respect to the general. So that's what we have witnessed here. Irrespective of any age, we have seen many school children on this way to the Air Force Station. They are, absolutely, literally, they are standing and saluting the mortal remains of General Bipin Rawat and 12 others. And finally, the mortal remains were reached here at Sulur Air Force Station, and within short few minutes, and the mortal remains will take to the national capital.
Right. We understand that several officers are also present there to be taking a good look at this entire process so that it's seamless. Many officials are on ground, many from the service staff, the defense staff college that General Bipin Rawat was supposed to be addressing, a lecture that he was supposed to be giving out there. We hear that many of their families and those officials from there as well have followed all the way to Sulur only to ensure this process is seamless and to respectfully bid adieu to our brave 12 servicemen. Rixon, if you can hear me, who are those people overseeing this entire process? Many from the Wellington College have also followed this entire procession just to ensure that it's a seamless process and everything is on schedule. What's the security situation like?
gone as per schedule. Wellington is always a dear place for, General Bipin Rawat. Now you can see how the people outside Air Force, they are raising slogans. They are raising slogans for, General Bipin Rawat now. So always Wellington was a very dear place for General Bipin Rawat. He spent a lot of time there. So his dear ones, his colleagues also followed him to the Air Force station. Hundreds of vehicles followed till the Air Force station to pay the last respect, to give the last respect to General Bipin Rawat. And still we can witness, irrespective of parties, irrespective of political parties, irrespective of anything, the people on the ground are raising slogans for General Bipin Rawat, and also they are raising slogans for Indian Army. We can hear Vande Mataram sounds here outside the Air Force station. So everything, everything was done as per the schedule, as per the schedule. And now, within short few minutes, we are expecting that the mortal remains will take back to, the national capital. And till people are not ready to go away from here, they are still raising slogans and all. The police have made some barricades and all here,
Well, there you have it. The 12 servicemen, their mortal remains being brought to Sulur. My colleague Rixon, who's currently on ground, bringing you all the latest captures right from outside the Sulur Air Base. You have people extensively gathering outside just to catch one last glimpse of the 12 servicemen who lost their life in the unfortunate crash along Coonoor, about 7 kilometers away from the Wellington Air Base. Highly unfortunate here. Just yesterday, in fact, CDS General Bipin Rawat, his wife Madhulika Rawat, and at least 12 others were on their way from Delhi to Wellington Air Base, where they had to, in fact, General Bipin Rawat was all set to give out a lecture to the students of the Wellington College. And even before he could make it through, he stopped at the Sulur Air Base as a stopover, and from there to Wellington. Unfortunately, just 10 minutes before the destination, the chopper crashed, and eventually leading to the death, many of them on spot. Severe burn injuries led to several of them who even were rescued succumb at the hospital. Unfortunately, we also lost CDS General Bipin Rawat and his wife Madhulika Rawat. Here, the mortal remains after the wreath-laying ceremony at the Wellington base is now being moved to Sulur. It's just being brought in via ambulances at the Sulur Air Base, and then will be moved to Delhi. By this evening, it should be arriving in a couple of hours into Delhi, and tomorrow will be the final rites with full state honours at the Delhi Cantonment. Here we have Rixon joining us for more on that. Rixon, take us through the process of the final rites. They will be moved. In how long will the flight take off to Delhi, carrying the mortal remains of the 12 brave servicemen? Well, much of the chaos there right outside the Sulur Air Base. A lot of people that's gathered only to get one last glimpse, and a flower tribute that they seem to be pouring as the vehicles approach, many of them showering flowers on the ambulances. It is really heart-wrenching. Sulur, Coonoor, Wellington area, the entire area, many of the veterans and servicemen, their families, retired servicemen and their families reside along that area here. Many of their families have come all the way only to catch one glimpse of the mortal remains, which is now being moved from the Wellington Air Base to the Sulur Air Base. A couple of hours journey it was, in fact about an hour and a half, and here we see that in about an hour's time it appears that the mortal remains will be moved from Sulur Air Base to Delhi, and tomorrow at the Delhi Cantonment the final rites will be carried out with full state honours.